You hate to see it, but a major politician stumbled and stammered through an easy answer in a softball interview on live TV, causing some to question his mental fitness for office. I am, of course, referring to Republican Congressman Jim Jordan. Intrigued? Then click that like, subscribe, and the alert bell, and enjoy the video. All right, folks, so we're not going to spend too much time on this one, but it's pretty funny, and so I wanted to bring it to your attention. So, again, recently there was a House Judiciary Committee hearing in which FBI Director Christopher Wray, Trump-appointed, Republican-confirmed, lifelong Republican himself, was grilled by Republicans because they basically blame him for everything. Everything. The fact that Donald Trump is potentially being held accountable at all for his many crimes is the fault of this lifelong Republican, lifelong conservative, Trump-appointed Republican FBI director. It's all his fault. He's basically a clandestine Biden plant. He's effectively a Democratic shill in the minds of Republicans. And so the head of that particular committee, Jim Jordan, went on the Fox Propaganda Network and spoke to Sean Hannity. And, of course, it's a layup softball interview because Hannity completely aligns with Jim Jordan and wants to use his platform to signal boost Jim Jordan's propaganda. And Jim Jordan was in the middle of an interview, or in a question, in which Hannity asked him effectively about an answer to it. But during the committee hearing, Jim Jordan asked Christopher Wray a question about whether or not the FBI censored Americans' free speech protections. And, of course, FBI Director Christopher Wray said no. I mean, certainly they would investigate, but essentially they're referring to the alleged sinister relationship between Twitter and the FBI as revealed in the Twitter files, even though those were widely debunked. So Sean Hannity asked Jim Jordan about this alleged sinister relationship, and Jim Jordan goes to answer, and this is what he does.
That's exactly what happened with the decision. When it came to the decision with Mr. I drew a blank there, Sean. I apologize. Yep. I got a huge echo in my ear, and I can't even hear.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, pick up.
But yeah, that's exactly what happened. They pre-bunked this story, and Facebook specifically asked the FBI, "Is the Hunter Biden story Russian misinformation?"
Facebook. So again, this really isn't substantive. It's just like a gentle cheap shot at Jim Jordan because, of course, listen, any well-spoken person, the most prolific and most proficient rhetoricians on the planet and in world history have stumbled through improvised answers to questions, even softball questions and softball interviews. I'm no exception. I consider myself very well-spoken. I stumble through words. It happens, right? The reason I'm drawing your attention to it is this. Number one, it's hilarious because there's stumbling through words, and then there's just short-circuiting on live TV, which is what Jim Jordan did. And the thing is, if that had happened to Joe Biden, if President Biden had done something like that, Jim Jordan and others like him would be just nonstop talking and tweeting about it, that it's a sign of President Biden's cognitive impairment and his lack of mental fitness for office. But do they hold themselves to the same standard? Jim Jordan is probably, half or a little more than half of Joe Biden's age, right? And here he is also stumbling and gaffing his way through an interview as well. So it's just a gentle reminder that anybody at any age, at any time, is susceptible to a really embarrassing gaffe. And that would be up there, what Jim Jordan just did would be up there with the worst gaffes that Trump and President Biden have made. But again, obviously it doesn't mean that Jim Jordan is unfit for office. There are many other reasons why Jim Jordan is unfit for office. The fact that he's been a congressman for years and he hasn't, actually moved or co-signed or sponsored any major pieces of legislation. He's just a vapid culture war warrior, who goes for the gotcha moments. But in terms of actually making his constituents' lives better, he is an abject failure. He's also been involved with the potential cover-up of some sort of sexual abuse related situation when he was an assistant gym coach. I think it was at Ohio State University, which I believe is still under investigation. So there are many valid reasons why Jim Jordan is not fit for office. This is not one of them, but it's just a nice cheap shot to remind Republicans and conservatives, if they're watching, that it's not just Biden. It's not just Trump even. anybody at any time is capable of embarrassing themselves on live TV. So keep that in mind. Perhaps the next time you go to criticize a Democrat, and specifically the president, for, in your opinion, doing the same.